before we get into it, please let me just remind everybody, go through my little spiel really quick, that I want to say shout out to my amazing patrons, shout out to my Ko-Fi members, my Twitch subs, my YouTube members. Thank you guys so much for your support of my channels. Please make sure that you like and share the stream. That is a great way to support my work. That doesn't cost anything. Sending super chats during this stream, which I set super chat goals every time, really helps the stream a lot, helps it get more into the algorithm. But if you can't contribute through super chats, a great way to help is just to like and share this great stream. Make sure that you're subscribed to both of my channels, and just watch all my videos all the way through. Later today, I'm going to be posting probably 4 or 5 videos on my YouTube, just like my regular videos on my YouTube from the last new ones that I recorded today and yesterday, and then also from last week that I didn't get to post. A really, really great way to support the channel that doesn't cost anything is just to watch the videos that I post, just to watch and interact with the videos that I post and upload regularly all the way through, and like comment and all that stuff. So yeah, those are all great ways. Another way is you can tip me on Venmo or Cash App, which is in my handle. That's another great way to support me and what I do. Also, shout out to my amazing mods. Hey, Boney, I see Boney has joined the chat. Old Boney Bird and John Ross, my amazing mods. Shout out to you guys. And I think that's everything in the spiel. Oh, I got a guest for next Monday. You guys want to see who I'm interviewing next Monday? I got a guest for my next podcast episode, which will be Monday, whatever next Monday is, at 5. Thank you, Boney. Yeah, so on Monday will be my second podcast episode, so make sure that you're subscribed to both of my channels, because the podcast is on the other channel, which is the Blakely Show podcast, since I couldn't think of a name. So make sure you're subscribed there to get the podcast episodes. I've done my first one with Chris Smalls, who is about to go to Cuba. And yes, you can find all of my links in my link tree, which are in my like description of my channel. Thank you, Boney, for putting that in there. And guess who I'm interviewing on my next episode? I'm pretty excited. Oops. I will be interviewing Lieutenant Colonel Anthony. I think it's Lieutenant Colonel is his rank. Yes, Army Lieutenant Colonel and Special Forces Officer and Green Beret, Anthony Aguilar, the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation whistleblower. That is who I will be interviewing. Yes, I'm very excited about this. I really want to ask him, because we went over it on live, how he felt, if he has seen it, about the way that Mike Huckabee talked about him versus Jonathan Pollard in the interview with Tucker Carlson. Yeah, so I'm pretty excited about that. That'll be on Monday at 5 on my other channel, on my Blakely podcast channel at 5 o'clock. So make sure you hit the little bell thingy. You know, the little bing, the little YouTube bell. Make sure you hit the bell so you get a notification when it's starting. I know, Bodie. I know. It's a lot. Although I've been really trying to get in touch with this guy for a while. So I'm excited that he's going to be my second guest. Part of it was my fault because I didn't get the notification from Twitter, which actually is kind of their fault. So James Clyburn is running again for re-election. Lamau, he's literally like 500 years old. Oh my gosh. Okay, so that's that. That's all the housekeeping, I think, that needed to happen. So let's get into it. I am very excited about making fun of Tapper Jake because he is trash. Absolute garbage. Thank you so much, Boney, for the super chat. I'm glad Jake Paul's jaw is healed with the way Trump was looking at him in the dance video. Oh, I know. That was so embarrassing. That was so pathetic. What a fucking loser. Yes, I agree. Dana Fash is pretty horrible. Okay. Thank you, Linda. Let's help reach the goal. Thank you so much, Linda. I appreciate you. Thank you for the super chat. Okay, so let's make fun of this. So Tapper Jake is a racist, as we all know. He's Islamophobic. He's terrible. He's awful. Okay. He's a propagandist for the Israeli regime. Hey, theater. Okay, so there's all that, right? But so Mamdani is hosting this iftar thing, right? And a bunch of Islamophobes are freaking out and attacking all of them, right? And there and just attacking them with Islamophobia, you know, and all the usual suspects. And what you'll notice is Tapper Jake and Dana Fash and all the other Zionists over at CNN and supremacists over at CNN never have any condemnation for the Islamophobia directed at Zohran Mamdani or other Muslims. Nothing. Andy Ogles, who is a representative, I think, from Tennessee, he said that Muslims shouldn't be in the West. Then you had Jake Lang, that white supremacist loser, attacking him and trolling him and showing up at Gracie Mansion with pigs and with goats to like taunt him and disrespect him. Then you had Randy Swine, of course, the usual disgusting, regular, as a course of business Islamophobia that Randy Swine engages in. And then you had Senator Tommy Tuberville saying, posting a picture of Zohran Mamdani side by side near a picture of 9/11 and saying, "We forgot," which is so insanely racist and Islamophobic that he's saying the existence of a Muslim mayor is terrorism. It's just disgusting. So all of these disgusting Islamophobic racists say all of that shit, right? All that shit on the reg. Okay. Everything I just told you was in the last week. Everything I just told you about how racist and Islamophobic these people are, that was just in the last week, let alone in the last months. But did Tapper Jake say anything about that? Did Tapper Jake say anything about that? No, of course not. He was, though, very offended that Mahmoud Khalil, who is the hero, okay, an incredible activist for Palestinian rights and freedom, who got illegally kidnapped by the Trump administration for exercising his First Amendment rights on the Columbia campus in 2024, he was invited over to have dinner with Zohran Mamdani and his wife. And that's what Tapper Jake is concerned about. This prisoner who got illegally kidnapped by ICE for exercising his free speech. Him going over for dinner, that's what Tapper Jake wants to talk about. It is. Thank you so much for the super chat, Saito. I'm trying to make my goal today, so thank you. It's Thursday, part 2, Blakely South. Thank you, yes. And that little inside joke for those who don't know is because I accidentally yesterday thought it was Thursday and went live as like Thursday coffee when it was Wednesday. So you know what, really? You guys just got extra Blakely, okay? You guys just got extra me. You got extra Blakely time. in a role. All right, so let's watch this clown. So with all that context that I just added, keep that in mind as Tapper Jake literally has nothing to say about Randy Fine, Andy Ogles, the Senator Tommy Tuberville, all elected officials. Okay, these are not rando people. They're not randos. They're elected officials. And then the white supremacist Jake Lang harassing him with Islamophobia at his house. Nothing to say about that. But he's very concerned that he had the audacity to invite over a Palestinian who'd been illegally detained for his free speech rights. Bitch, don't you pretend to be a journalist, Tapper Jake? Doesn't his bitch ass pretend to be a journalist? Embarrassing.
New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani is taking some heat from some circles after posting this picture with a high-profile.
I love how they'll say people are saying. It's such like a Trump thing. People are saying, oh, Zohran Mamdani is taking so much heat from some people. And they try to like create like a some people, like people are really upset about it when people really aren't upset about it. Like, no, be clear. Racists are upset about it. Islamophobes and bigots are upset about it. Why don't you be clear, Tapper Jake? No, not everyone is upset about it. Oh, some people are saying, some people in some circles are upset about it. No, that's you, boo. You're upset about it because you're a racist. You're upset about it because you're a bigot toward Muslims. That's why. That's who. Clarify who's upset. Let's be clear about who's upset. Instead of doing what the media loves to do, where the media loves to pretend that something they want to push is a concern of the masses. Oh, well, a lot of people are very concerned and some circles are talking about this. What circles? The Klan? Like, what circles are actually upset about it? Some people in some circles. No, that's you. You guys are upset about it. And you're trying to add in this we business. I'll tell you why we don't calm down. It's because you're not excited.
Palestinian activist detained and released by ICE. The mayor writes, quote, we marked the 1-year anniversary of detention. Rama and I were honored to welcome Mahmoud, meaning Mahmoud Khalil, Noor and their son Dean to Gracie Mansion to break our fast together. It is Ramadan. Mahmoud is a New Yorker and he belongs in New York City, unquote. Now, you might remember Mahmoud Khalil as the...
I love that. I love that tweet. Based. I love that tweet. Mahmoud is a New Yorker and he belongs here. That is the absolute... How could you be offended by that? How could anyone be offended by that? Unless you're a racist, of course.
Anti-Israel protester from Columbia University, to say the least. The Trump administration is working...
To say the least! LOL. What a victim. Oh, first of all, these people are so full of shit. These people are supposed to be journalists. And they were happy to have Trump violate his civil rights. These free speech journalists, these press people were happy to ignore all the Palestinians in Gaza getting slaughtered who were journalists and not stand up for them. And they were also happy to allow Trump and his ICE thugs to kidnap Mahmoud Khalil and other Palestinians and pro-Palestinian people off the fucking streets. But then he goes, anti-Israel, to say the least. You're a fucking liar, tap dancer Jake.
Working through an appeal to try to deport him for exercising his First Amendment rights. Let's discuss this and more with the panel. So today, White House...
Oh, sorry. It's also never not going to be hilarious.
Spokesperson Anna Kelly told the New York...
Oops. It's also never not going to be hilarious that they actually, and we'll get to this, that this is a Jake Tapper hater stream, okay? It's never not going to be hilarious that they actually wanted to do a segment on her Instagram likes, which we will get to after this. But it's amazing that they actually wanted to do a whole segment with everything that's happening in Iran, everything that's happening. And speaking of Iran, we'll get to that too, the propaganda around his little Israeli spy coming on to speak for the people of Iran. But what's hilarious about that is, so multiple segments we're going to have to get to today to make fun of him. But it's amazing that he thought that was an important segment to do. Not actually talking about what's happening in Iran for real, and then brings on like Israeli spy to talk about how much Iran loves what's happening to them.
No one should be feting the anti-American pro-terrorist activities of Mahmoud Khalil, who made his name as a ringleader of violent anti-American and anti-Semitic university protests that harmed American foreign policy interests. The Trump administration goes on to accuse him of leading activities.
How funny is that all these people fancy themselves as being smart elites. But then when it comes to Mahmoud Khalil and terrorizing Palestinians and lying about them and smearing them, all of a sudden, there's no distance between these two. Besties.
aligned to Hamas. What do you make of this?
So first of all, I get the point. He's defending,
they literally made that up, by the way. Just, I know that you guys already know that, but just to say, for the sake of clarification, this guy was literally just a student. And they're saying that he was a terrorist they literally call everyone that. I need you guys to remember that. They call everyone a terrorist. They're even calling American citizens terrorists now, like how they lied and called Renee Good and Alex Peretti domestic terrorists, even though we saw what happened to them on fucking camera. Okay, so they call everyone that. And anyone who is pro-Palestine, as we all know, they'll just call Hamas.
Like he was exercising his First Amendment rights. I get the talking point. Part of my problem is that we live in a culture now that the second you're discriminated against or face state action because of your First Amendment right exercises, it makes you a martyr, makes you kind of a hero.
Him purporting to be a journalist and then putting First Amendment right in quotes is wild. That's fucking crazy. You're calling yourself a journalist and then you're putting First Amendment in quotes. What?
This guy's not a hero. He's a putz. The organization that he is
a
part
hero,
of,
actually.
Just got into trouble at the beginning of this war by tweeting out "Death to America." The organization was pro-Hamas. It was the organization defended the 10/7 attacks in pretty explicit terms. This comes on the heel of this other controversy of Zohran Mamdani's wife being revealed to have liked a whole bunch of social media.
Controversy. It's not a controversy, actually. Her Instagram likes, her pro-Palestine Instagram likes are not a controversy. You guys are just hysterical and racist. And again, you want to have a cutout for yourself. You want to be Islamophobic. You want to be racist. You want to be bigoted toward Muslims. And then you want to have a cutout for yourself where you get to call the ambulance every time somebody is pro-Palestine and say that they're discriminating against you and call them terrorists. Because that's what they do, which is fucking racist. Calling Arabs and Muslims that you don't like because they exercise their First Amendment rights or liked pro-Palestine tweets, calling them terrorists is racist, is bigoted. And so are these people.
Posts saying that the mass rapes were all a hoax and that Hamas was justified and all that kind of stuff. And Mamdani's defense is, well, she's a private person. It's not anyone's business. And then they go out, the most social media savvy mayor in America by far goes out and posts them feting, fancy word, this guy who is an outright apologist for terrorism and part of made famous by a group that organized around intimidating Jews on Columbia's campus. And so like you can say that
that's such a lie. That's such a lie. It's such a lie. Intimidating Jews on Columbia's campus. They were literally Jews as a part of his coalition. He had what is the name of the dinner, the Jewish dinner that people have? Like he went to temple with them on campus. I know, they're such liars. What is the name of the Jewish dinner that's common to have? I'm forgetting the name, but he literally had that. And there were people who were a part of this. Was it Shabbat? Seder. Thank you, Holly. A Seder. Yeah, he had a Seder with them. And so, or Shabbat dinner. And he was there were literally young Jewish people that were a part of this coalition, this pro-Palestine coalition on these campuses. They just lie. He's just lying. What they mean, they have to conflate this because their positions are indefensible. They have to say, oh, he was intimidating Jews because their real position is indefensible. What they actually want to say is that he was criticizing Israel and their genocide in Gaza. That's what he really wants to say, but they can't say that. So they have to lie and go, he was trying to intimidate Jews. They have to lie and go, oh, well, he was being anti-Semitic, and he was a terror defender, and he was this and this and that, and they have to make up all this shit about him because they don't want to say what they actually believe, which is, despite the fact that there were Jewish people a part of that protest, that were a part of his coalition, that were in that group with him, that were breaking bread with him and having dinner with him, that were also pro-Palestine and anti-Zionist, what they want to say is, we don't like that he was criticizing and protesting Israel. We don't like that he was protesting and criticizing the Israeli regime and their genocide in Gaza. That's what they really want to say. But they can't say that because they know how bad that sounds and how indefensible it sounds. So it sounds better, and it's easier for them to conflate that by saying he was attacking Jews. He was being anti-Semitic. That's easier for them to lie about and say, because again, it's more awkward if you say, well, they don't like him because he was protesting Israel's genocide in Gaza. Then most normal people would go, and that's good that he was protesting the genocide in Gaza. But no, again, they can't do that because that would look really bad. So he just lies.
Deportation stuff goes too far and has legal issues. I'm fine with having that argument. But it doesn't make this guy a hero, and it doesn't make someone that you should...
I'm fine with having that argument. You Muslims can go through the court process and maybe stay. I'm fine with having that argument. Yikes. That's giving white supremacy. It's giving racist.
Celebrate inside a Gracie Mansion.
What do you make of it all, Karen?
So I think there's two pieces here, right? There's, as Jonah was saying, there's the First Amendment piece. There's separate and apart from this.
You're never actually going to see a pro-Palestine person on here making the case. It'll be two Zionists both making the case as to why he's bad. So that guy is a radical Zionist, and Tapper Jake's a radical Zionist, and this is going to be like Zionist light. And she's going to be making the alternate case where she's agreeing with everything they said. They're never going to actually represent the pro-Palestine position on CNN, this absolute joke of a propaganda network.
Individual and how you feel about him and his his organization. You cannot, like you said, I think First Amendment rights are important. We should stand up for that. Obviously, in the era of Trump, even more so.
Right. The Klan marching in Skokie weren't heroes. We didn't treat them as heroes for doing that. Right.
You're right. I don't disagree. Yeah. We're there. However, there's...
See, there it is. That is outrageous that she is comparing him to the Klan. Her response should have been, you're not comparing Mahmoud Khalil protesting against the genocide of his people to the Klan, are you? That's literally what he just did. He compared Mahmoud Khalil being pro-Palestine and protesting against the genocide of his own people is being the Klan marching through Skokie, Illinois. That is fucking deranged. It's also so fucking racist and dehumanizing because what they're saying is you are not allowed to be a Palestinian. Your existence is not enough to give you humanity. Your existence exists in opposition to Israelis. You're not allowed to be a Palestinian who has human rights and autonomy, who has the right to defend yourself and the right to stand up for your people as they're being slaughtered. No, you're not a human. You exist to be the opposition bad guy to the Israelis. Comparing him objecting to the slaughter of his people to the KKK is fucking insane. And it's so racist and it's so offensive. And did either of them push back? This is what I mean when I say there is no pro-Palestine view represented on here. This fucking asshole just went, you're right. Okay, you're right. Are you fucking dumb? Are you fucking dumb? Oh, you're right. You're right. It is just like the Klan marching in Skokie. Him saying, please don't kill my people. Please stop slaughtering children in Gaza. That is just like the Klan in Skokie. Are you fucking dumb? But again, it's not just this radical Zionist saying this. It's them agreeing. Tapper Jake, of course, totally agrees because he's a psycho, racist, Zionist, white supremacist. But it's also this fucking clown, this fucking woman sitting there going, You're right. Oh my gosh. Unfucking believable.
There's a political reality to this where they're trying to say this whole like she's a private person.
About his wife.
Having worked for the most public private spouse in America, Hillary Clinton, that you can't. Sorry. I mean, once you are elected and once you are in a role like this, people are going to be curious about your spouse.
Okay, well, the real answer should be nothing. She did nothing wrong. She didn't do anything wrong. His wife did nothing wrong. You hysterically crying over her liking pro-Palestine tweets is a you problem. She didn't do anything wrong. That's the answer.
Period, full stop. They're going to look through your social media. They're going to, and politically, yes, your spouse can be used against you. And I say this to candidates all the time. That's just the political reality we live in, and how you handle that. Look, and it's hard on families, but what strikes me about this is they're trying to defend this as she should get to do whatever she wants. Okay, but he's still going to be held accountable for some of that.
In fact, let's roll what Mayor Mamdani said when asked about the story in Jewish Insider and the Free Press and the New York Times about
the Free Press
her liking the social media post you described. Here's Mayor Mamdani.
I love how he treats the Free Press like it's a serious publication. Be fucking serious. Like, genuinely, this is so embarrassing. This is so embarrassing. Oh, not the Free Press.
My wife is the love of my life, and she's also a private person who has held no formal position on my campaign or in my city hall. I, however, was elected to represent 8.5 million people in this city, and I believe that it's my responsibility, because of that role, to answer any questions about my thoughts and my policies and my decisions.
So that was Friday, but you would suggest that after yesterday's posting, you can't, that's not operative anymore?
Yeah, to sort of tie these two things together, I mean, the problem is wanting to have it both ways.
No. The problem is that you guys are racist and Islamophobic, and you want to be able to control what he can and can't say. And the fact that you feel that you have lost a little bit of control over this Muslim mayor, and you feel like you are so outraged that he has dignity and he's not allowing you guys to just abuse him and be racist and Islamophobic. Like, you are being those things, but he's not apologizing for who he is. That's what you're so mad about. That's actually what they're so mad about, because they're incredibly racist and Islamophobic, anti-Muslim bigots, that what they're actually upset about is that he is not apologizing for who he is. He's not apologizing for his wife and her totally fine likes on Instagram. And he's not apologizing for who he is and being a Muslim and standing up for Mahmoud Khalil. Good. He owes them no apology. They're angry because they want to control that. They want to control him feeling like he can and can't say certain things and has to apologize for his existence. I hope if on the off chance that anybody from Zohran Mamdani's team were to ever see this stream and take something away from this, or a clip from it, if somebody clips it, my hope would be that they remember not to ever give into this, because this is not going to stop. Their Islamophobia, their smears, their attacks, their anti-Muslim and anti-Arab bigotry, their demands that he constantly apologize for his existence and who he is, their demands that he constantly take pro-Israeli regime positions and coddle Zionists, that is not going to stop. That is not going to stop. They're going to want to be coddled and continue to be coddled, and they're going to continue to attack him no matter what. So I just hope that his team understands that, which I think they do. But I just hope that they understand that and they stick to, like, not caving in. Because, again, the old saying goes, you give them an inch, they take a mile. You cannot give in to these smear merchants. They will never stop. If you think that you're going to, like, give in to anything that they say, or give them, like, okay, you can have this, I know this was really bad, and think that they're going to leave you alone. No, they're never going to leave you alone. His entire mayoralty, they are going to be attacking him and harassing him and trying to put him in his place. they're going to try to put him in his place constantly. So I just hope that he recognizes that, which again, I think he probably does. He's obviously been Muslim his whole life and, you know, brown his whole life. So he understands that. I just hope that his team doesn't buckle to any pressure and think that they need to try to appease these people. Because the point that I'm trying to make is there is no appeasing them. There is no appeasing them. These people want to destroy him. They want to destroy Mamdani. They want to destroy his mayoralty. There is no appeasing them.
To say it's outrageous to make my spouse a political issue, how dare you, private person, all that kind of stuff. But then use that spouse for political purposes when you think it helps you or serves some sort of agenda. Now, I personally think—
when did he use his wife as a political
picture doesn't actually help Zohran Mamdani at all. I don't think it helps him with the people who don't trust him and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But he thinks it does. He thinks it helps him with his base. It gives him street cred. But regardless, you can't have it both ways.
But again, who cares? The people that hate him are deranged and are racist. He shouldn't be trying to appeal to them. Why should he be trying? Oh, this doesn't help him with the people that already don't trust him. The people that don't like him are fucking racist. The people that don't like him are bigots. Why should he be trying to pander to them?
Ways. Either your spouse is a complete free agent and unrelated to your administration.
Also, you notice that they love to add it like a compliment when a Republican panders to their base. But when a Democrat or somebody like Zohran Mamdani, Democratic Socialist or whatever, panders to their base, they're like, and he's trying to pander to his base. Like it's all sinister.
Or not, but it can't be she's a prop when you want her to be a prop, and then if she does something that embarrasses you, or he, depending on the politician, all of a sudden say, oh, that has nothing to do with me. It's once you're in, you're in.
Yeah,
girl, shut
it's
up.
A political reality. Like I say, I've said this to candidates so many times. You may not think it's fair. It doesn't matter. This is reality. So let's deal with the reality that your spouse is. People are going to investigate them, be curious about them. Their fashion. I mean, look at how Michelle Obama, changed fashion in this country because she had those fabulous arms. I do not wear, sleeveless dresses, but lots of people do. So point being, particularly as the first lady of New York City, largest Jewish population outside of Israel.
Yeah.
That comes with some new responsibilities, whether you like it or not. It just is the reality.
Why are you assuming that every Jewish person that lives in New York agrees with this deranged racist view? How come you don't care about all the Jewish people that were in that Columbia campus that agreed with him and participated in this protest? What about them?
Yeah.
Mayor Mamdani is a very smart guy. Mm-hmm. And he had to have known that having Mahmoud—
he had to have known that we're going to be hysterical and racist.
Which I think we all probably agree with. People have the First Amendment rights in this country. But the other issue of what he and his group did at Columbia University, what they stand for now, he had to have known it would upset people.
Well, and I think that this is the other piece, just speaking politically again, given that.
So he's supposed to cater to racists because it upsets them? He's supposed to cater to racists because it upsets them. Got it.
You're exactly right. And it plays into the fears that people had before he was elected and an issue that he's dealing with in terms of the Jewish community. So I'm surprised he wasn't more prepared to acknowledge that.
They keep trying to make this a bigger issue than it is. Actually, this actually is not an issue in New York. You keep trying to make that happen because of loud, lunatic, Zionist extremists. It's actually not an issue in this city. He got a lot. If you actually look at the vote for Mamdani, he got a lot of Jewish people. He got a lot of people who were Jewish on his to support his campaign, especially young people. There were Jewish people at that iftar. Thank you, Bonnie, for the super chat. The Dow. My favorite part about the Dow comment is that she has to look down at her paper. to say it. That's my favorite part of that. Did you? And I keep forgetting to get the Dow clip.
Did you?
Did you?
Did you?
Where's that Dow
If you
clip?
guys do take it and do something crazy to it.
And to acknowledge that it may be upsetting to some people, whatever language you want to use, it's not unreasonable that people would raise a question and say, well, wait a second. Because again, it plays into something you already know is a political problem. And, one of my things I say to people, they're going to hit you. You don't have to give them the bat to do it with.
So the mayor's office, what if they were to say something along the lines of, look, it's Ramadan. We're posting a picture. Every one of these iftars, Mahmoud Khalil had his First Amendment rights trampled on, and the mayor, is standing up for that. It's not about this other stuff. What would your response to that be?
That's BS.
Shut up.
Just insofar as, look, Zohran Mamdani's own views on Israel-Palestine are pretty close to Khalil's. Maybe not as extreme, but the fact is he knows that there was substance to what Khalil was saying in his First Amendment rights. This is not someone who had, an obscene poster taken down. This is someone who organized for months around the proposition that Israel and those civilian Jews had it coming. He plays word games now about how...
That's a lie. He never fucking said that. He never said that. What he was opposing and what he was protesting was the genocide in Gaza. What a liar. What a fucking liar. He never said that. He never said, neither of them ever said that. That is, you made that up. You made that up. I wish they would sue him. They should sue his ass. Oh, they had it coming. Neither of them said that. Literally, neither of them said that. You just made that up. They should sue his ass.
He doesn't support violence against civilians. That was not the impression of that group. Zohran Mamdani knows what this guy represents. He knows the organization that he's affiliated with. He knows the side of the argument that he's on. And he chose him not because he's a hero of civil liberties, but because he's a hero of the globalized, the Intifada crowd.
All right, thanks to all. We are extending right now.
He's a hero of the globalized, the Intifada crowd. Again, they think that they get to decide what that means. They think they get to decide what that means. These are the same people that will cry about the phrase from the river to the sea, but then have no problem with Yair Netanyahu saying that. Think about how deranged this is, you guys. So, and obviously the double standard too. So when the people who are pro-Palestine say from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free, they flip out about that and they say, oh my gosh, that's so racist and anti-Semitic that you say you want Palestinians to be free. That you want Palestinians to be free. Just free. That's what they say. But then when you look at Yair Netanyahu, his literal Twitter bio says, from the river to the sea, this flag is all you'll see. Sounds pretty genocidal to me, huh? Sounds pretty genocidal. Thoughts, Jonah Goldberg? Hey, Jonah Goldberg, do you have anything to say about this? Where's from the river to the sea crowd of this psycho saying that this is all you'll see? That's a call for genocide of the Palestinians. He's saying from the river to the sea, all you'll see is this flag. What does that say about the Palestinian? What happens to them? Sounds pretty genocidal, but Jonah Goldberg, nothing to say about that. All right, so that was Tapper Jake, psychotic, lunatic, deranged, racist, Jewish supremacist, Islamophobic, part 1. Now we're going to go to the second clip, which is him. No, it's amazing. It's amazing. Man, I have so many tweets calling out Tapper Jake. So many. We're going to go to the one about Mamdani's wife next. That was so deranged. This is insane. Listen to this. Emma Vigeland posted, Trump's presser went late yesterday. So Tapper bumped his segment on Mamdani's wife's Instagram likes, which Sam Cedar was set to join. Interesting that he brought it back today. I get it's slow news day with 2 panelists critical of Mamdani. Good tape for the Ellisons, though. Yeah, he seems to be. Somebody posted, I don't remember who it was, that they were like, the Ellisons and Barry Weiss are actually going to have to tell Tapper Jake to calm down. Tapper Jake is so over the top that even his like new bosses over at the Ellison family and Barry Weiss are going to be like, slow it down, bro. But imagine that. You're literally so passionate about wanting to smear Zohran Mamdani and his wife that you bumped your segment to later so that you can keep doing it. No, that's incredible. That's incredible. Where is that? No, guys, I had 3 segments that I was doing. 3 that I wanted to do. Guys, what was it again? Now I'm forgetting and I can't find it. It was the one on... Yeah, they're all on Tapper Jake, but I had 3 that I was going to go over. It was the one on Mamdani, him losing him losing his shit over that. The one on the Instagram likes, and there was a third one. Oh, the Iran one. I remember now. Okay. I guess the Mahmoud Khalil one and the Instagram likes one were in the same segment. I guess the Instagram likes and the Mahmoud Khalil one were in the same segment. Totally deranged. Like, imagine what a fucking loser that you have to be that you think talking about Zohran Mamdani's wife's Instagram likes is worthy of a whole segment. So embarrassing. So embarrassing. Emily Schrader, who is an op, okay? Emily Schrader, who is an op of the Israeli regime. Now, she blocked me, okay? They all blocked me. All of my biggest haters and all the people I love to clown on, they all blocked me, right? So Emily Schrader, who is a propagandist and a hack for the Israeli regime, she's literally she's so embarrassing. So she blocked me on Twitter after I made fun of her for being a white woman who's literally American, pretending that she's like indigenous to the Middle East, LOL. And she blocked me. They literally brought her on for a segment to talk about what the Iranians want. This like Mossad op. Okay. She works for the Israeli government. She literally works for the Israeli government. They brought her on to be the voice of the Iranian people. They brought a propagandist who works for the Israeli government on TV to do a news segment about what the Iranian people want. Make it make sense. Thank you so much, Max, for the super chat. I appreciate you. You should do back-to-back streams more often. Oh, one day. That is my goal. That is my goal one day when I can sustain it. I haven't been able to do it because I just can't sustain it like financially. But when I get to the point where I can be like totally self-sustaining off of like YouTube and like YouTube content and streaming, then I will up the amount of times that I do it. Every day is Thursday. But thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you for contributing to help me get to my goal, my chat goal, super chat goal. Every day is Thursday. I know our media is Mossad. I appreciate it. Okay, so now we're going to watch this absolute clown shoes. Aw, that's so nice. Thank you, Max. I appreciate that. Here's them discussing Operation Epstein Fury and how and we went over that poll yesterday. That was so funny. That was so funny. The poll of like them being mad that most Americans are calling on Operation Epstein Fury. They were like pissed off about that, like the Trump administration. It's like, yeah, boo, that's what it is. That's what it is. Okay. So here's them. Wait. Wait. Okay, so here is the Mossad op. Okay. And, or I'm sorry, not Mossad, the Israeli government official and propagandist, Emily Schrader, who blocked me like a coward, talking about what the Iranians actually want. I know you guys are getting me. I'm going to make sure to do that tonight. I even wrote it down. I made a note. Get the Dow sound.
But by and large,
Emily, you've been talking to Iranians on the ground about the strikes and about Iranian leadership going forward. How do the Iranians you're talking to, how do they see the future unfolding in Iran?
She's not a journalist. Why are you asking?
Of course, there's a lot of uncertainty and there's a lot of problems with the internet still being shut off, although there is some limited use with Starlink and limited other options. But by and large, the responses from Iranians that I've spoken to has been overwhelmingly in favor of the United States and Israeli action on the ground. They're very happy.
Oh, they love it.
Emily, you've been talking to Iranians on the ground about the strikes and about Iranian leadership going forward. How do the Iranians you're talking to?
They
on
love
the ground
it. No, one more time for the people in the back.
Personally witnessing IRGC troops move.
Emily, you've been talking to Iranians on the ground about the strikes and about Iranian leadership going forward. How do the Iranians you're talking to, how do they see the future unfolding in Iran?
Of course, there's a lot of uncertainty and there's a lot of problems with the internet still being shut off, although there is some limited use with Starlink and limited other options. But by and large, the responses from Iranians that I've spoken to has been overwhelmingly in favor of the United States and Israeli action on the ground. They're very happy that regime targets.
Emily, you've been talking to Iranians on the ground about the strike.
They're happy.
Into schools and.
Did you guys see the insane apocalyptic scenes when they bombed the oil facilities? They literally bombed the oil facilities and they were causing like acid rain. Is this liberating the women of Iran? Was that liberating the women of Iran bombing their oil facilities? They killed little girls. They killed children in that school strike. Was that freeing Iranian women?
Mosques. I've received a plethora of photos from Iranians on the ground of exactly that, moving both the force, the manpower, and weapons and equipment into school areas. So this is something very concerning. It's not new. It is a tactic of the Islamic regime and their proxy forces, but it's definitely concerning for the future. And of course, there is some questioning about what President right now on the ground is that they're personally witnessing IRGC troops moving into schools and mosques.
This woman is such a liar.
Received a plethora of photos.
Now, you guys know that that's always the routine that they do right before they're about to start attacking schools and hospitals and mosques. By the way, every accusation is a confession because there were recently Israeli military soldiers that admitted that they were using schools. Sorry, look at this, you guys. I'm looking for a specific clip. All right, I can't find it. This is annoying. Oh, I look. This one, amazing.
I'm not saying this is the biggest issue in this moment, but the centrality of Israel in the operation has raised some concerns for me about what this is going to mean for anti-Semitism. You see the amount of talk on the MAGA right, but elsewhere as well, that
I just love that they're talking about bombing innocent people in Iran. And he's like, I've got a lot of concerns about anti-Semitism. It's like, stop making this about you for 5 minutes challenge. Level impossible, apparently. This isn't about you. Sorry, I said about because I just saw this, which was Ezra Klein is the human bad take. Thank you so much, Zaid, for the super chat. Are they happy that... No, but seriously, though, that's literally how they're talking about it. Oh, the Iranians, they're just so happy about all this, about we're being greeted as liberators. What? It's absolutely fucking demented.
Israel's leverage over Donald Trump, or that, this is all just some kind of Israeli plot. I'm not saying this is the biggest.
Literally, Ezra Klein, shut up. Shut up. They bombed a school and killed 170 plus little girls in Iran. They bomb oil facilities in Tehran, a city of more than 10 million people, and cause acid rain in like the biggest chemical weapons attack we've ever seen, at least since probably World War II. And you're making this about you. It's unfucking, the narcissism is unfucking believable. It's just unfucking believable. All right. Are there any more clips of this? Were there any more clips of said rodeo clown? Hacker Jake. Hacker Tapper Jake. Jake Hacker. I actually like Tapper better. Tapper Jake. Mm-hmm. Wait. Bro. Oh, I know. Rachel Maddow. The whole thing is a fucking joke. It's an actual joke. Okay, hold on. So we've spent $17 billion in 12 days. 12 days. $17 billion. What a fucking disgrace. But you know what? Part of it's our own fault. We accept their bullshit when they go, well, actually, how are you going to pay for it? And like, how are you going to pay for it? Yeah, this part's funny. LOL. It's like so embarrassing. It's like pretty unambiguous. And then she's like, well, did I say that? Oh my gosh, unbelievably embarrassing. Unbelievably embarrassing. Thank you so much, Zaid, for the super chat. They targeted those kids for satanic rituals. I mean, I don't know about that because it was us. It was us. It was the Americans that did that. And I don't really know what the. I mean, not to say that like we wouldn't do something like that. Like obviously, the Epstein class is who's in charge. The Epstein class is who is in charge of this country. So I wouldn't put past anything, but I don't know. The whole thing is so fucking horrible. The whole thing is just so horrible. It's just so awful. Satan catching strays. Oh man, that's funny. All right, maybe that was the last Tapper Jake one, I guess. Oh, this is so embarrassing too. This Fox one, since we're already talking about Mamdani. And by the way, I want you guys to keep in mind that as this is happening, all of this pearl clutching and crying, they're literally the Speaker of the House won't condemn what they've done. Okay, so here is. I just want you guys to keep this contrast in mind, okay? This is a United States senator posted this. This is insane. Insane racism, insane bigotry, insane anti-Muslim hatred, Islamophobia, just absolutely disgusting, despicable. This is a United States senator saying that, okay? And then on top of that, you have, of course, Randy Swine, who there's so many we can't even keep up with. That guy says so many racist and Islamophobic things and bigoted things every single day that it's impossible to keep up with. It is impossible to keep up with the amount of insane racism and bigotry that Randy Fine does every day. And then this racist, Andy Ogles, put out more Islamophobic and racist and anti-Muslim bigoted comments about Zohran Mamdani and about Muslims. And Speaker Johnson, who is the Speaker of the House of Representatives, refuses to condemn him. Just keep that contrast in your mind, you guys. Just keep that contrast in your mind. The contrast of, so Mamdani can't exist while Muslim and have an iftar dinner without being harassed with racism, Islamophobia, anti-Muslim bigotry, and bigotry against his Palestinian guest. He can't even exist while Muslim. He can't even have an iftar dinner. But all of these bigots and racists and people in positions of power, elected officials, senators, congresspeople, the Speaker of the House, say the most, not just them, Jake Lang harassing them with anti-Muslim and bigoted harassment outside of Gracie Mansion. And then also the racists like Tapper Jake and Jonah Goldberg going on TV to do propaganda against him and propaganda on behalf of Zionists. So you have that. You have the media attacking him. The media, like Tapper Jake, pretending like he's an objective journalist, pretending like he's an objective journalist that actually cares about the truth, doing bigoted racism and Islamophobia against Zohran. And then you have the elected officials doing it with Tuberville and Fine and Ogles, elected officials and the fucking Speaker of the House not condemning it. And then you have the activists, the racist white supremacists like Jake Lang, harassing him outside of his house. No condemnation. No condemnation. Huh. Curious. Where you guys be? Seems like a pretty big discrepancy, right? Doesn't it? Doesn't it seem like a pretty big discrepancy? Doesn't it seem kind of like an unfair double standard? Doesn't it seem kind of like an unfair double standard to be able to talk like this about Muslims and treat them like this and nobody says anything? This is the kind of gaslighting that I can't handle. This is the kind of gaslighting I can't handle. They'll literally be so psychotic and deranged and disgusting, Islamophobic, bigoted, and racist. And no one says anything. No one says anything. They defend it. They defend it. They defend it. Nobody says anything to stand up for them. They defend it. But then they'll literally cry over Zohran Mamdani having dinner with Mahmoud Khalil because he exists while Palestinian. They'll cry over him having dinner with Mahmoud Khalil because Mahmoud Khalil has the nerve to stand up for his people and exist while Palestinian and protest the genocide. That contrast is incredible.
Johnson has a rhetoric problem on his hands. Speaker Mike Johnson has a rhetoric problem on his hands after two of his members made anti-Muslim comments. This week, Congress...
By the way, Abby Phillip is one of those people that gets a lot of credit from the left. They'll be like, oh, she's so reasonable. She has yet to take down or correct her beheaded baby's hoax tweet. She put up a tweet promoting and claiming the Israeli regime's lie that a bunch of babies were beheaded on October 7th. It was quickly debunked and everyone had to walk it back. And a bunch of people, including her, did not make corrections, did not delete their tweets, did not correct the story once it was debunked. Even Israeli media debunked it.
Congressman Andy Ogles wrote on social media that Muslims don't belong in American society, that pluralism is a lie. And in a post today, he called Muslims barbarians. Congressman Randy Fine is also facing backlash over his post
he called them barbarians. Like, they're just such despicable racists.
Muslims barbarians. Congressman Randy Fine is also facing backlash over his post calling for Muslims to be deported and pushing to denaturalize American citizens. And tonight, Johnson acknowledged speaking with both men, but stopped short of condemning their language.
Right. There's a lot of energy in the country and a lot of popular sentiment that the demand to impose Sharia law in America is a serious problem. That's what's animating.
What an insane thing to say. He's such a piece of shit, you guys. He's literally such a piece of shit. Like, this is insane. He's saying that all those insanely racist and Islamophobic things that those lawmakers are saying wasn't really actually racist and Islamophobic. They're just very concerned about non-existent Sharia law. You know, they're just very concerned about the non-existent threat of Sharia law in the U.S. First of all, Sharia law is a dog whistle. Okay, when they say Sharia law, that is an anti-Muslim dog whistle. But second of all, the fact that they say that with a straight face is a joke. There is no threat of imposing Sharia law here. And then for him to try to make it about that instead of condemning their vicious racist attacks, you're such a piece of shit. You call yourself a Christian, Mike Johnson? You call yourself a Christian? You call yourself a Christian, Mike Johnson? You call yourself a Christian. Absolutely despicable, disgusting. Not a surprise, though, coming from the guy who's such a weasel and such a disgusting fake Christian that he went to Palestine and started calling it Judea and Samaria, which is genocidal language to call the occupied West Bank that, just in case it wasn't clear.
It's this, and that's the the language that people use. It's different language than I would use, but I think that that's a serious issue.
Founder and executive director of the National Security Institute, Jamil Jaffer, joins us in our fifth seat.
It's a serious issue. These people are a joke. He is a joke. Hold on, guys. I'll leave it plain, but I'm going to go grab some more coffee. These people are...
Jamil, do you think that this is really all about the fear that there's really going to be Sharia law installed here in the United States?
Well, that's not what Randy...
Again, this is the kind of bullshit questioning that you will find on CNN. Because her response to that should have been, we all know that's an absurd thing to say. But instead, she actually poses it like it's a serious question. Mr. whatever that guy's name is, do you really think that Sharia law is something that we should be concerned about here in the United States? You know that's a bullshit question, Abby. Why are you asking it like that? Like, get the fuck out of here.
Andy Fine or Andy Ogles said. What Andy Ogles said was Muslims don't belong in America, that they have no place here, that they should all go home. Even the ones born here apparently should go God knows where, but somewhere apparently. And Randy Fine said, if it's a choice between dogs and Muslims, I'll take dogs. Now, I have 3 dogs. I love my dogs, right? But we're a Muslim household and we're fine with dogs. It's all good.
I have to choose between dogs or Randy Fine.
I will say my wife might choose the dogs over me. So, there are some Muslims who might lose out to dogs.
And Speaker Johnson coddling this bigotry, I think, is the other part of the story, to be honest.
A few things. First of all, my grandpa moved from Syria in the early 80s, and my dad's whole side of the family, they are Muslim. So anti-Muslim bigotry has been around for decades and decades. I will say, my grandpa who moved here, the Muslim community he lives in Indiana, is full of doctors, heart surgeons, people who have helped their community. I also find it very ironic that Republicans are so welcoming to any form of bigotry. They're so welcoming to anti-trans bigotry. They're so welcoming to anti-Muslim bigotry. You're making a face, but these are bigoted comments they made. But the moment that bigotry is targeted towards them, they freak the hell out. You have to stop any bigotry before it enters your movement. I just find it funny when...
Too late. They don't care. And they get away with it because liberals don't stop it. They get away with it because the liberals don't care either. And a lot of liberals are Islamophobic Zionists, so they don't stop it. Because why are you letting that shit fester? Why are you letting that shit fester?
You're making a face, but these are bigoted comments they made.
My life might choose the dogs over me. So, you know, there are.
Also, it's crazy that this guy's having to defend their existence. You know what I mean? Like, him having to go, oh, there are a lot of Muslims I know that live in this part of the country that are great people, that are doctors, that are scientists. Why are you having to justify that? Why are you feeling like, why do you have to justify your existence? Oh, they're doctors, they're regular people. It's like, Muslims have been so dehumanized in this country that they feel that they have to defend the bigotry against them by being like, no, we're human too. Like, we're regular people too. We're doctors. We contribute to our community. We're scientists. Like, they shouldn't have to say that. He shouldn't be having to sit there and defend his existence. This is fucking crazy.
Some Muslims who might lose out to dogs.
And Speaker Johnson coddling this bigotry, I think, is the other part of the story, to be honest.
A few things. First of all, my grandpa moved from Syria in the early 80s, and my dad's whole side of the family, they are Muslim. So anti-Muslim bigotry has been around for decades and decades. I will say, my grandpa who moved here, the Muslim community he lives in Indiana, is full of doctors, heart surgeons, people who have helped their community. I also find it very ironic that Republicans are so welcoming to any form of bigotry. They're so welcoming to anti-trans bigotry. They're so welcoming to anti-Muslim bigotry. You're making a face, but these are bigoted comments they made. But the moment that bigotry is targeted towards them, they freak the hell out. You have to stop any bigotry before it enters your movement. I just find it funny when Randy Fine will be super Islamophobic, but then he'll be on the floor whenever something is directed at Jewish people, which, by the way, you should never be bigoted towards anybody. Stop the bigotry before it enters your movement. But how do you only micro-focus on certain forms of bigotry? I just don't.
What I find ironic is, supposedly some of these comments are as a result.
So it's all, oh my gosh, I'm such a victim. Poor me, worry about me, worry about me. But then it's on the floor of the house, whining and crying, trying to be a victim, and then saying the most demented, deranged, racist, Islamophobic things about fucking Arabs and Muslims with blanket statements.
It's
crazy.
Of the attempt against Mayor Mamdani in New York, who was raised Muslim, was he not? Himself. So they're being anti-Muslim and they're finally defending Mamdani over something.
To be clear, the attack wasn't on Mayor Mamdani. It was on people protesting. It was attacking protesters, people protesting Mamdani.
Right by his house.
To frame it as an anti-Muslim attack would actually completely reverse what happened.
Actually, they were literally harassing him with anti-Muslim, bigoted protests. What are you even talking about? Hey, thanks for watching. If you like that video, please make sure that you like and subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. And if you'd like to support my work, you can become a Ko-Fi member or a patron, linked in the description, or you can tip me using Cash App or Venmo. I like tips.